ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
Yet another major development in the sexual assault allegations against County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher. Just 30 minutes ago, Fletcher tweeted that he will be resigning from the county board. This follows the bombshell today when Fletcher was sued by a former MTS employee who says he forced himself on her and harassed her. Good evening. I am Wale Aliyu.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. Fletcher admits to, quote, interactions, but says the incidents were consensual. In a statement sent to us 20 minutes ago, Fletcher said, "The strain on my wife and family over this past week has been immense and unbearable. A combination of my personal mistakes plus false accusations has created a burden that my family shouldn't have to bear." ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin has been following this story all day, learning that key members of Fletcher's team resigned this afternoon.
We've just discovered 2 members of Fletcher's staff resigned this afternoon, including his director of policy. Now to the lawsuit. The suit talks about interactions that went on for almost 2 years. First, starting with allegations of Fletcher viewing social media videos and sharing emojis to interactions in person. County Supervisor and now former board chair at MTS Nathan Fletcher accused of sexual harassment and assault. A lawsuit made public Wednesday accuses Fletcher of forcing himself onto former MTS employee Gracia Figueroa, touching her sexually and without her consent numerous times, first in the stairwell of his hotel, then at least 2 additional times at MTS headquarters. We're naming Figueroa in this case because she told us it was okay to do so. Our normal policy is not to name people claiming to be victims of sexual assault. According to the lawsuit in May of 2021, Fletcher began to stalk Figueroa online. Screenshots from her social media show his reactions to her pictures and private messages. According to the lawsuit, social media posts and messages turned into in-person interactions. The lawsuit describes a night at his hotel where he asked to kiss her, but she rejected his advance, pointing out that he was married and she had no intention of having anything more than a conversation. The lawsuit also describes multiple allegations of sexual assault during and after MTS meetings. According to the lawsuit, in December of last year, Fletcher grabbed Figueroa's breasts underneath her blouse, pulling off some of her clothes. The lawsuit says Ms. Figueroa was intimidated by the dynamic Fletcher had created, and she feared that she would lose her job if anyone found out that she was being pursued sexually by the senior most ranking official at MTS, its board chair. The lawsuit claims despite those fears, Fletcher's behavior continued. Then in February of this year, the day Fletcher announced his official candidacy for a seat in the California State Senate, Figueroa says she was fired from MTS. Figueroa is suing both Fletcher and MTS. ABC 10 News reached out to Figueroa and her attorney for a comment on the lawsuit and did not hear back. A spokesperson for Nathan Fletcher also didn't have anything to say this afternoon. However, Fletcher and his attorney released lengthy statements this morning, even before the lawsuit was made public. They called the allegations false, saying they're designed to drive headlines and not tell the truth. In a statement, Fletcher said in part, "Last year I made a terrible mistake engaging in consensual interactions with someone outside my marriage. I made it clear it could not continue or advance and desperately hoped I could leave this mistake in my past. However, this individual and an attorney demanded millions of dollars from me and my family with the threat of not only embarrassment, but a willingness to lie about the circumstances and nature of the interactions." One of the allegations is failure to prevent sexual harassment and retaliation. I asked the county if Fletcher completed any sexual harassment prevention courses. They say he did in October of 2021. That's the same month the lawsuit accuses him of surfacing on Figueroa's social media account. Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
Adam, thank you. And Fletcher has been a major figure in San Diego politics for more than 15 years, elected to the state assembly at just 31 years old.
But some political experts say this bombshell and now his resignation throws his political future in the air. ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill is joining us in the studio with how accusations of misconduct in the eyes of the public have changed in recent years. Ryan.
Yeah, guys, that's right. I spoke with a law professor at USD who says that people who think differently politically from Fletcher are going to seize upon this situation, and those who align with the former supervisor may have a wait and see attitude.
The political bombshell dropping in San Diego County is the lawsuit accusing Supervisor Nathan Fletcher of sexual assault and harassment.
The first reaction, I think, is the same as most people, and that's this is explosive. It's just one of those things that is an attention grabber.
Craig Barkas is a law professor at the University of San Diego who does have expertise in politics. He tells us facing this kind of lawsuit could have been devastating for any future political prospects for Fletcher from the word go in days past.
But political constituencies run very strong. And often people rally behind somebody they support, and a lot of people are going to say, well, let's wait and see how this plays out.
We also asked Barkas about the timing of this lawsuit being made public days after Fletcher announced the end of his state Senate campaign to seek treatment for PTSD and alcohol abuse.
I think a lot of people are thinking this is what's called a totality of the circumstances situation, and they're putting all those factors together. And quite frankly, the combination of factors really don't reflect well on Nathan Fletcher right now, and I'm sure that's a real concern.
Barkas says if Fletcher were to step down from his position, deadlock on decisions on the County Board of Supervisors could happen.
Well, right now we know there's a 3-2 partisan advantage in favor of Nathan Fletcher. Obviously, that makes it a 2-2 split, and that makes things like agreement a lot tougher.
Dropping out of the Senate race opens up the possibility of a big field of candidates vying for a seat they previously thought was locked up. Fletcher did say that he would be resigning from the County Board of Supervisors following his medical absence. Reporting live here in the studio, Ryan Hill, ABC 10 News.
We will have much more on this breaking story tomorrow morning, and you can track the latest developments on our free 10 News mobile app.